Carry on, John.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Well, welcome to Friday. I'm so glad that you could join us both on Facebook and in Zoom. Remember, on Zoom, you can actually be asking Anders, who is the artist today, questions because he will be able to hear you. Anders Andersson, I see Anders every year in Germany. We're with him during our German Fear show. He's not only a fantastic artist, he's just a great guy to be with. He has a great sense of humor, phenomenal artist. He's here, he'll answer your questions. Please visit his site. He has a wonderful studio. He has an in the artist studio. He is a brand ambassador of Daniel Smith. With that, Anders, I wanted to thank you for being with us today. It's always great seeing you. And he's also a grandfather, so he just turned to be a grandfather. Congratulations for that.
Thank you, John. Yeah, grandfather for a week now. For a week, yeah. Yeah, thank you, John and Catherine and Daniel Smith. Really happy to be with you. I don't know how many years has it been now. We have been together a long time, I think.
I think either 6 or 7 years at least.
Yeah, at least
in Germany. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Sweden. Like to paint a lot, yeah, somehow I stuck into watercolor. I don't know why, but it's a thrilling media, and it's always exciting to do it. And in each and every painting, you learn something. And yeah, after doing a lot of paintings, you create your own style in a way. And then I will show you my style or some of it. And just if you want to ask anything, I just ask. I try to talk while I paint. I don't know, John, should I show some paintings or what should I do first?
I think maybe show them a few paintings of what you're going to be going over. And I think what the viewers love, they love tips and techniques. And then they're going to also ask questions, which they can do live on Zoom and which I will give you on Facebook. So if you see it on Facebook, I'll just let you know verbally.
And we will go through some strange brushes also.
Awesome.
Some funny brushes here. Okay, paintings. Yeah. I like to be outside painting, and here I have one. Love to be outside. It's also a thrill to be, and actually it's a little bit harder to go outside and paint, but the thing you get back from when you're outside is really good. I like to do these type of things. We'll do some today a painting with only two pigments, and this is almost one pigment in this one. And here I have,
Anders, what pigments were they? The two pigments?
I will use sepia and indigo. This is almost indigo and some sepia in this one. And yeah, there is also some red and some. I think it's indigo in this one. Only two pigments or two colors. And I usually add some whites also with yeah, it's also watercolor white, but it's straight from the tube. Here's a more reddish one.
So can I share with people most of these pictures of the lake are outside your lake house?
Yeah, it is. It's just outside. I have a few feet down to the water, and I can stand there and paint. So, and I have a small boat as well, and I have some good places to go. I think I posted on my Instagram the last painting, and I also put in the coordinates, so you can go into Google Maps and see where I were.
Awesome.
So you just go in, and you're going to see the spot where the painting was made. So that's fun. Okay. You want me to show some we can go through some equipment. I think that's good. Yeah. Usually paper is the most important thing, and I use Arches and Saunders, the Waterford, mostly Saunders Waterford actually. You get used to a paper, and then you know how it's react and how moist it be and how quick it dries and everything. So but it's the most essential thing to have a good paper. Then of course you need some paint and you have, I use Dana Smith, and there's a lot of pigments in them, and my I don't know, you can see it. Here's my palette. I don't use so much different colors, different paints. I have a little bluish corner here, and a little bit red and yellow up here, and some in between. You need. I use indigo, ultramarine, cobalt, sepia, burnt umber, undersea green, lovely color I have here. Yeah, some warm red, and a cool red, and also a cool yellow and a warm yellow. I think that's pretty much what I use. It's you need to have a big mixing area. That's very important, because it's on the mixing area where everything happens.
Anders, there's a request if you could share a bit more about your color wheel. That's a request from Heather from Facebook.
Yeah, from behind here. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I did this for some years ago, and actually, when you want to paint a painting with a really good singing painting, you need to make the pigments as far as from each other as possible. So here you have the color wheel and the complementary color, and also have paint in small squares. Yeah, and I also write down the name of it and the brand of it and everything, so I can go just pick one, what I want. So
what brand of paper are you using, and what's the weight?
It's 300 grams, and Saunders Waterford almost every time.
Awesome.
I think that's it's pretty good. Okay, is that enough? Yeah.
And the palette, is there a name of the palette you're using? The metal palette?
This one.
No, the metal palette.
Yeah, it's actually this plastic. This one.
Oh, okay.
It's a plastic. I have some metal as well, but when you're outside in wintertime, it's really hard to have a metal. You need to have a plastic one. And this is good because you can close it, and it's the color don't dry.
Oh, awesome. Who makes that?
Oh, actually.
Y no se secan los colores. Is that Migelo? Is that a Migelo palette? It looks like a Migelo palette. Migelo.
Could be. Yeah, this has no brand on it.
Looks like Mission Migelo.
Yeah, and it's good one. Then we have the brushes. You need to have a mop. I used to have a mop, and also a pointed one, a pointed brush, and I used to have for details some other small. This brush I use a lot, and then I have this one where I have been painting my house with. I will show you how to use it. It's worn out, but it's yeah, have some special effects. And also sometimes I use this is a worn out acrylic thing, working well for me. But these are the main brushes. Okay, good. Any questions about the equipment? I will also use a razor, also to show some tricks with it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Anders,
Yes.
hi. I have a question about the house painting brush that you had.
Okay.
Did you just cut it to get that sort of light look from? Just use scissors to cut it?
Yeah. You can see it here. It's I can cut away some of these.
Some of the bristles.
Yes. Yeah.
I made one too, but mine's not as pretty. I use a bigger one. Yeah, that's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and sometimes I have. This is another one. It's Chinese, and also here's a common brush where you paint your whole house, and I cut away a lot of the hairs. It's more or less when you paint bigger, you need bigger brushes.
Right. Very cool. Thank you.
Anders,
There is another invention. It's a brush where we have no control of. So it's another. It's you hold up here and you have no control of what you paint. Good. So should I start paint the demo maybe?
Great.
Yeah.
See. Okay. We switch to the other camera here. Okay. Good.
when you mentioned you used white in some of your paintings, which white do you use? The titanium or?
Titanium white, actually, right from the tube. That's you pick it right from the tube.
Thank you.
Yeah. So usually start and you think of where you put your horizon, and we will do a maybe like this. You see it, yeah. We will put some stones maybe here, and some trees and things like that. I think that's pretty much what I usually paint. And now, yeah, I've already ruined this paper, so it's yeah, I can just paint on it without being fair that I ruin the paper. Now it's on, yeah, I will only ruin it in a way. And I have the paper in the angle. Now this paper is about 45 degrees in angle, and you're going to see it soon when I put in the colors. So here I have indigo and some sepia here, and I mix it, so I get a good juicy mix. So I start to paint, and you see this some sort of bead come up. Maybe you see it, yeah, maybe.
Yep.
You see it, good. Then I just put in some water here. Yeah, that's pretty much the sky. Easy. And then we can go down and do the water. Now I skip so I have some white here in between. Then you make some distance in the painting. Yeah, and I put in more dark and a little bit more sienna when I go to when I come down here. Yeah, like this. Now I want to do the tree line in the back, and it's wet here, so I just go in with some thick paint like this. And actually it's almost paint itself. If I go in with I put in the trees here. Actually, when you paint watercolor, it's more or less timing. It depends on how wet the paper is, how wet the brush is, and when you go in with water. So it's if now I have only water in this brush, I can do things like that, and the watercolor it paints itself. It's so easy to paint watercolor. It just sitting down and look how it's developed. You see how the trees are making themselves.
What color is that? Is that the same color, Anders?
Same color. Yeah, same color. Only indigo and sepia. And then I have this brush. It don't take so much pigment, so I can go in. Now it's a little bit too dry there. Yeah, don't matter. So do some clouds with it. Now I do some stones here.
Did you just change your mop brush size?
Yeah, this is a smaller mop brush. Yeah, it is smaller, but still a mop brush. And now I show you the razor. I can do the stones with my razor blade. And here is important to just go once, because if you go twice over the same, then you lose the glow from the paper.
Anders, are you ever concerned that you might cut the paper with the razor blade?
No, I have it really flat like this and pushing. So you can use a credit card or also this. This was a little bit too strong. Take it down with my fingers. You can use your finger. You can lift colors with the fingers. And if you take there you have your fingerprints. No one can say that. No one can.
It's not yours.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, put some. It was a little bit too neat in a way. The problem when you paint watercolor is that you're so eager to go on and doing it all the time. So now if you go in and put some more colors in it, it will be a certain mud of everything. So actually you need to wait a little and but I have a hair dryer, so I use it and for a while. So yeah. Oh, I think that's okay. When you paint watercolor, things happen, and this was not attention to have this white thing, but it's looked nice, and I keep it, and that's the funny thing with watercolor. It happens things, and you have to paint along with the painting, and if something happens in the painting, it's don't be scary. Just go on and paint, and yeah, you have to think that this will be a good painting in the end. So now I have this strange brush. The good thing is that it don't take so much water, and I have wetting this side, and now I can go down with the reflections here. This is the fastest way to do the water and reflection. Be sure that you save some whites. Right. Take only
Is this a view of your backyard?
Sorry.
That's a view from your backyard.
Yeah, sure. It's it's a few meters, yeah, from my summer cottage. So I've been painting there a lot. So that's I have this painting in my head. So it's no, I don't have to have any pictures to look at. Now I use this rigger in a way. It's a rigger with really long hair. I got the opportunity to design it myself, actually, and the Neef brushes that they made it. So I think they have it in the shop.
Who made it?
Neef brushes.
How do you spell that?
Neef.
Okay.
I don't know.
They're out of
Thank you.
Australia.
And if you want less control, you hold it up here, and then you can do like this crease, and it's too easy to paint with this. It's criminal to have it. It's a crime to use it. So. And when the water hits or connect with the stones, it's more or less dark there. I think it's a kiss line, or what you say.
Nice.
put some water in it. So it's with a spray gun here. Not too much. Then they can go in with this brush again, and I can do some leaves. Just do like.
What part of Sweden are you from, Anders?
More or less south of Sweden. We have the second biggest lake just close here where I live. So it's and it's so big that it's almost a ocean actually. So, but the south part of Sweden.
Thank you.
Yeah. But it's still cold in the winter. It could be 20 minus centigrade. So it's. Now I can go in with some titanium white, and then I take it right from the tube. I just put the brush in the tube, and then I can go in and make it.
Try the white sticks, Anders.
What do you say?
Try with the sticks. Take on the sticks.
A long stick, yeah.
I think Giovanni was asking about using the watercolor sticks versus from the tube. It's nice.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I'm. Maybe you have time to do another one if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
You make me want to go to studio in paint, Anders.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, it's actually it paints itself, and now when it's dry, that you can go in and do some small things. Yeah, with your fingers, or maybe a tree trunk coming here.
God-given tools.
Yes.
Thanks, Anders.
Yeah, I bring another paper and we do another one. Is it time for that?
Yeah, well, I have to go someplace, but I appreciate it. I'll catch you on YouTube or Facebook later.
Yeah, you have it here, the address.
Thank you so much. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Have a good day, everybody.
You too.
You too.
So one time we were in Germany, Anders was doing, how many paintings were you doing? Like 200 at one time?
What do you say, John?
I remember when we were in Germany, you had been, you were commissioned to do either 200 or 400 paintings.
Yeah, I got the commission to do that. They didn't want to, because I never print any paintings. Every painting is original. If you have a painting from me, it's always original. I decided that long time ago that it should be that way. But they wanted, I think 200 or 300 paintings. So I had to paint a lot.
What size?
It was a small size. So it's maybe half of this size. This is a quarter of
The royal sheet.
yeah, full sheet.
Completely agree with you, Anders. Only original.
Yes. Only.
So the one thing that Giovanni, Anders, Alvaro Casne do that's kind of interesting, many of you may do it as well. They will actually paint with, at times, with the paper at 90 degrees. And they're kind of fearless because there'll be drippings and they don't worry about that. They'll do a drip line, they'll catch it and they'll make a tree line out of it or a forest out of it. And, you know, from a viewer, me as a viewer, that's so interesting that you're so creative and able to do that.
Yeah, you have to follow what's happened on the paper. If you, that's what people think it's so hard to do watercolor. It's that you can't control it all the time. If you do it like this, of course you can paint really controlling, but if you do like this, you have to paint along with the watercolor. You have to all see what's happened and take care of all the mistakes. So for instance, in this. I did several mistakes, but no one noticed it. So
We always said there are no mistakes. There's only happy accidents.
yeah, happy accidents. Yeah, I show you not a funny thing. What you can practice at home. It's I like to paint boats and. Here I go in with again, it's indigo and now I put some burnt sienna in here in the foreground. If you use a lot of water, you free the pigment and you get lovely things happening.
Lots of granulation.
Yeah. So I now I decide where to put the boat. Now with the razor blade here, and we go do the sails. Take another one. It's require a little bit practice here. Yeah, we do two boats. Maybe we go with also have the reflection down here in the water. I lift some color, some paint here. This horizon looks a little bit weird, but maybe that's okay.
Anders, how long is it, when you're not doing demos, how long does it take you to do a painting?
Yeah, it depends. It could take a few hours, actually. This is quick ones, these, but yeah, half an hour until an hour around. So that's the usual time. And sometimes you work on 2 or 3.
In 40 years of experience.
Yeah, I used to say
That is my favorite saying.
yeah, it takes 20 years to make a painting in 20 minutes.
Right.
So you have to practice. And I put in some white here also in this painting.
Are you also using indigo and sepia here?
Here is indigo, and the brownish is what to call it, burnt sienna, actually. So here is 2 pigments, indigo and burnt sienna, actually. So it's.
Anders, I have a question.
Yep.
What makes a good painting?
What makes
a good painting?
A dead painting.
A good
What
painting.
makes a great
good,
painting?
Yeah, a great painting. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's several things. I think most important is the composition in a way. I think if you take this painting, for instance, it's a little bit heavy on this side. I should put in some birds or something to make it more balanced. And when you do less pigments, you got a unity in the painting. It's holding everything together. And of course, you have to somehow. I think you need to have some ideas how a boat look like, the proportions in a way, if you want to do a more realistic painting. But it's hard. People like paintings in different ways, but yeah, I like it when it's not so correct. And when you're out and paint, you can't do it exactly what you want. So that's what I like to explore more, and that's why I like to be outside and paint. For instance, these boats are too much in the middle. Maybe I should have moved them somewhere, but I can crop it. Just crop it in a way. Yeah, I don't know if that was an answer on the questions, but I think a painting should have you have the technique, but also have some sort of story or feeling in it. That makes good painting. You feel something. So. Yeah.
Thank you. That was a wonderful answer. I thought you were just gonna say Daniel Smith's paints makes it great, but thank you so much.
They helps. They helps, and it's not so much about. We often we talk about material and material, and it's a material sport. This everyone is so into what brushes you use and what paint you use and what paper and everything, but in the end I think it came down to you can paint with almost everything, but it helps with good things. If you have good equipment, it helps you, and if you're a beginner, you need even the best things actually, but when you paint for a while you can use almost anything to paint with. So but important thing is that you have good strong pigments and a good paper. I think that's the 2 most important things. And when you paint watercolor, it's funny, it's a funny feeling, I can show you the feeling I have when I paint watercolor. I paint on the back side here. If you have your time here, and here you have your energy, your own energy to paint, eager to paint. Then you start, always you start, and you like, now inspired to paint, and you start, I have a lot of energy, and you start here. And in the beginning, it goes very, very good, and everything goes right, what you think. And for a sudden, everything goes wrong. And that happens to every painter. And here you're down in disaster. And then you start here again, and you try to save the whole painting. All the time, and it goes up and down here, and in the eventually maybe you came out with a good painting. So this is your energy in watercolor. So you go over this. At least it's for me. I don't know if it's the same for you, but this is. And most of the time you start to save all the accidents that happens. But when you're down here, you need to think that, okay, this will be a good painting. This will be good painting. So you have your faith to do a good painting.
Actually, when you come to that point, you don't care anymore, and you losing yourself, and then it starts happening.
Yeah, and at that point, it's when you go in with paper and do like this, and this was wrong, and then you go in and mess it up.
No,
more than you should. What you should do is okay, that was what's happened. It was not my fault. It was the watercolor's fault. I go on and paint on. So that's what you should do. So often you stop too early. Stop here. So and you think you have ruined the whole painting.
Anders, do you ever give up on a painting or abandon it?
Yeah, I do. Actually, a lot of paintings is bad, but at least I in my studio, in my cottage, I have a fire, so it's really easy to lit it up with some good paper. So
no, the background is white.
Yeah.
Anders, do you ever stretch your paper?
I used to, actually, but it takes too much time to do it. I think I want to paint. I don't want to go and stretch it. I used to put this is masking tape. Sometimes I do it around, especially when I'm outside, but when it's blowing, and then I stick it to. But I like the way you have a edge here. And it's really nice when you frame it and you can see the edge of the paper. I like that. That a lot.
Do you use more than one water container when you're painting? Do you keep a clean and then or do you just use one water container?
No, actually I have a big water container here.
Oh, okay.
And I used to change water a lot, because you need to have the glow from the paper, and I used to change the water between each and every painting. Actually, I think that's
okay.
Yeah. Anders, do you have a philosophy that you apply to know when to stop? Know when to say when?
Yeah, but when I'm painting and I start to think, okay, what should I put in more? Then I have to stop. What should I put in something here or there? Then it's better to stop and then to go back to the painting the next day or something and then look at it. That's what I learned. It's often you paint too much. You go too far in painting, too far in, and then you paint too much. You want too much actually. So
do you ever have a fear of the white paper?
No, actually not. No, I just convinced myself that this is only a paper. This is and I can paint on the back side. I have some I don't know. I can change. Here's my studio. I have some big paintings. You see up here. But when you have these big paintings, then it's really scary to paint on them because it's so costly. You have some big paintings. Here's my studio, for instance. So no, it's yes, but when you do the sketch on the paper, I think that, oh, I have only ruined it. So yeah, I can just paint on it, and then you relax in a way. And of course, you need to do your, what do you call it, your brush miles. You need to paint. Watercolor is a medium that you need to paint a lot to understand it. So it's costs a lot with if you paint a lot, it costs a lot with the expensive paper, but you need to paint on real paper. I have seen a lot of students that they should buy a really nice brush, and then they can only afford a small one, and then they buy some studio paints, and then after that they don't have the money to buy the paper, so they buy a cheap paper in some ordinary store, and then they wonder why it's not being good watercolor. So paper is really important.
Thank you very much for your answer.
Yeah.
So anybody on Zoom, if you'd like to ask Anders a direct question, please do so. And he's putting up his website now. And for those of you on Facebook, I'm trying to be as diligent as possible in reading your questions, but please ask your questions and I will ask those of Anders.
Yeah, I like to be outside and paint. And if you look into my Instagram, I used to put up all the paintings there. And the last one, I put in the coordinates where I was painting that painting. I was sitting in a boat in a lake and paint that painting. A really good spot.
Anders, what do you think about watercolor block pads?
Yeah, when I'm outside, I sometimes use block pads because it's convenient. It's you have everything, and you can just take a knife and take it away and do another one. It's convenient.
Okay. Anders, could you show us really quickly maybe 5 or 6 of the brushes you use during this? Because I think there's viewers that come in sometimes a little bit late and miss it.
Yeah, sure. I'll show you. First, I started with a big mop. Okay, they are expensive, but of course they you need them because they hold a lot of water. And then for some, I also use a smaller mop. This one. And then I used to have this pointed. This is a Neef brush. I think Alvaro Castanjet doing this one, and this is Escoda Perla with really pointed and a little bit stiffer than the mop. The mop is like a cat tail or something. You see how it works.
Squirrel.
Squirrel, yeah. it is. And this is synthetic Skoda Perla. And then this is a Anders Andersson brush from NAIF, and it is really pointed, and it's also a little bit stiff, but not as stiff as this one. I do it for branches and for sailboats and everything. And then I have two special brushes. This is, I think it's an acrylic brush. That's some of the hair is away. And this is my brush that I paint my house with. And it cost $1, I think.
Oh my gosh.
So this is mostly the brush. And sometimes when I do buildings and like this, I have a flat one. Also.
Awesome. So Andrew, do you ever completely wet your paper, let it dry, and then paint?
No, actually not. No. Sometimes I wet the whole paper and paint it, and I got some more time to do the painting. And I have a spray bottle also close to me, so I can make a spray. And if you're outside when it's really hot and sunny, then you need to have more time. Then you have to have it a little bit more moisture all the time.
Okay.
Otherwise, it dry too fast.
So Valerie has a question, and she says, "Can you share your plain ear setup? Can you show her, the viewers, if you have it available, your plain ear setup?"
Yeah, I can do it. I can do that. And do like, maybe can do like, we switch the camera.
While you're finding that, Anderson, do you use masking fluid in your paint? I know you leave a certain area white. You also use titanium white or Chinese white. Do you also use masking fluid?
No, actually not, because it don't came on the right spot. But when you first you do a sketch, and then you put in masking fluid. But when you start to paint, you get some other ideas, or it's happened things on the paper. Then the masking fluid are in the wrong place. So
you're very fluid.
Yeah, yes. So it never came in the right place, at least not for me. I have here. I have it's actually ordinary photo stand, really compact one. It's not big at all. And then I have a board putting on these. So this you can just bring along. And of course, some brushes. Also, this is a setup with the brushes I used to use, and the ordinary palette. So that's it's not actually not much. I don't want to carry so much with me, because it's heavy and you don't need much. Actually, it's I only use a few of the brushes, so I used to carry too much, and I have it in one of these, just a bag, and it's always packed. So I have the equipment is double, so I just can take it and go out and paint.
Awesome. So you may not know this, but Anders is an engineer, right, by training?
Yeah. Yes.
He's ran corporations, just a really, really bright guy who also loves painting. And so that's the beautiful thing about watercolors. There's just so many different outside careers and training that comes in to this thing that we call watercolor. I think it just makes it more robust. There's just so many ideas that come into it and techniques.
Yeah, actually, that was started. People told me that it was so difficult to paint watercolor. So I like that it's a lot of different techniques you can use. You can paint in so many different ways, and you can see the artists everywhere doing their thing in watercolor. It's very interesting to see how lot of techniques you can do with watercolor. So that's wonderful. A wonderful medium.
Does anybody else have questions for Anders? I'm reading the Facebook, but on Zoom, you can ask him directly. Just go ahead and ask.
I really enjoyed seeing how you got as much as you could out of the pigment, going from almost water to straight out of the tube. I just think you are using the brushes in the paper to really get that fluidity that watercolor can create, this what we kind of use loosely termed magic. It's just gorgeous to the eyes. That so thank you so much for showing us all this. One question I had is, how do you keep that freshness that you do in the demos than in your own paintings?
Yeah, good, really good questions, and I think that's what watercolor is. You need to have the freshness, and the freshness you get from the paper. And if you if you scrub your brush too much on the paper, you get the muddy feeling. The pigments is, John knows this better than I, but pigments are small things, and you need the light coming down, bouncing on the paper, and then go back, and then you get the color. Then you get the shiny effect. And if you scrub too much with the brush all the time in the same place, you're losing that thing. So that's why you go over not too many times. I never do more than 3 layers in a watercolor, because then you start to get the opaque thing, and that's not what I think. It's the lovely thing with not the lovely thing with watercolor. It's, and you get it's a bit, yeah, to have the freshness. And also a really good thing is when you mix your pigments on the palette, don't mix and mix and mix and mix. Just take it up gently and put it on the paper really gently. Then you still have these small bits of pigments, and then you get a fresh watercolor. I think if you look at some master, you can look at Joseph. I don't think he's telling people that, but if you look when it take the pigments from the palette, he do it really gentle and in a delicate way. So I think that's one of the secrets with watercolor. So really good questions, really, Gabriel. Thank you so much.
Anders,
I like how you also you said it best visually, and you actually twisted the handle of your brush to pick up the pigment.
Like a spoon or something. You just take it up gently, and don't mix so much. So you can try it at home. Try to mix really heavy and try not to mix so much. And you put these two washes next to each other. It's the same pigments, but you're going to see it's totally different way how it look like. So yeah.
Yeah,
Anders,
and through this whole year, we've been watching John doing these just one swipes of color, and we've been talking about the nerdy part of the science, you know, with the light hitting the paper and coming back through the pigment. Why would we want to, you know, diminish that, you know? And so,
Yeah.
I love this. It's great stuff. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Perfect. Yeah, good.
Anders,
You
who-
perfected the spontaneity, Anders. I love how you paint.
Yeah.
It's an absolute play, and that keeps the emotions so beautifully. And that's what watercolor is truly about.
It is.
I loved watching you paint. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Anders, who was a watercolorist who inspired you to do watercolor?
Actually, the first I've been. My mother is an artist actually from but in glass, but it was a couple of years ago. Actually, I think it's maybe 15 or something, and then I have always had the watercolor around me. But then I said to myself, okay, if I should learn this really well, I have to look at the great masters. So I looked up in the internet, and I saw a guy who had 1 week workshop in France every year, only 1 week. And I went there, and he inspired me a lot, and that was Josef Sevovic. So actually, he had one week in a small place, and I went there and that was the really kick for me. That oh wow, could you paint watercolor like this? That and I was stuck in that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
So Anders, can you show one more time your website so everybody sees your website?
And feel free to send questions on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I try to answer, and I have no secrets. I have revealed some secrets now what to do, but I have it's tough enough to paint watercolors, so it's yeah.
So with that, I wanted to thank all the viewers. Thank you for being with us today. Anders, a huge thank you out to you. Thank you for sharing with the viewers. Thank you for answering questions. It's great to have all of you here today. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye to Anders and goodbye to all of you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Bye, Gabriel.
Thank you.
Bye, Barbara.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Yeah.
Fantastic day.